Kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha Shri Chaitanya Manoyabhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Kripa Eva Kevalam Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya Acharya Guru Varga Ki Jai Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaur Tishei Namaha Patita Pavana Nitai Gaur Sundar Ki Jai Ajanu Lambito Bhujo Kanakayo Dhato Sankirtanai Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwam Bharo Dvijavaro Yuga Dharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karuna Avtaro The most merciful Patita Pavan Nitai Gaur Sundar Ki Jai Yadi Gaurang na hoite Tabe ki hoito Kemone Dharitam De Radhara Mahima Prema Rasa Sima Jagat Janat Ke Yadi Gaurang na hoito Tabe ki hoito He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute He Radha Kanta Namastute He Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pranamami Hari Priye Pranamami Hari Priye Hare Krishna. On behalf of the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad group, I welcome all the participants today on this very special occasion of Sri Radha-ashtami. May Sri Radharani Raseshwari, the heart and soul of Nandan Krishna, bless all of us with pure bhakti, with her service, Radha Dasyam. So I sang two songs today, very, very special songs composed by two very special acharyas or personalities in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. Those two personalities are Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Rupa and Sanatana Goswami are actually eternal servitors of Sri Radharani in Golok Vrindavan as Rupa Manjari and as Labanga Manjari. So they are our Rasik Acharyas. They spent most of their time in Sri Vrindavan Dham, and they were always meditating on the service of Sri Radha. So I will first quickly translate. There won't be much time to actually go deep into the second bhajan of Sanatana Goswami. It is called Radhika-ashtakam. And every stanza, the line that was repeating was Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. Sanatana Goswami is repeating in every stanza, I offer my obeisances to the lotus feet of the young daughter of King Vrishabhanu, Vrishabhanu Nandini. And just to highlight the last line, Vandiye Shri Pada Padma. What does Shri Pada Padma mean? Shri means, actually, there are many meanings of Shri. But one of the meanings of Shri is the highest opulence, the highest wealth. And what is that highest wealth? That highest wealth is Krishna and Sri Radharani and their Jugala Sarkar, the divine couple's service. That is the highest wealth for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And therefore Sanatana Goswami has mentioned Shri Pada Padma, the lotus feet of Radharani, offers, gives us, is capable of giving us the highest of the highest in this whole creation, which is the service of her lotus feet. So, Shri Radharani ki Jai. The translation of this Radhika-ashtakam is that Srimati Radharani's face makes the full moon of the Sharat or the autumn moon season bashful. It will even put it to shame. And multitudes of flowers that adorn her beautifully braided hair. She is also dressed in a wonderful blue sari. Radharani's sari is blue because Krishna is bluish, and that is why her favorite color is blue. And the upper part of her body is covered with a veil. I worship the lotus feet of Sri Mati Radhika, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. The dot or the sindoor on the forehead of Srimati Radhika defeats the redness of the early morning sun. When the early morning sun rises, there's got a very special saffron redness, and it defeats the beauty of the sun that is rising. The fragrance of lotus from her body causes the bumblebees to go wild and fly around her. The gesture of her eyebrows defeats the pride of millions of cupids. I worship the lotus feet of that Srimati Radharani, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. Her eyes, which move like the Kanchan bird, are anointed with mascara. And from the corner of her eyes, she shoots her beautiful glance, just like the arrows from the bow of Cupid. Her beautiful nose defeats the beauty of sesame flowers, and from it a nose ring swings very beautifully. I worship the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. Her lips are more reddish than a ripe bimba fruit, and her teeth are as beautiful as set of the seeds of pomegranate, like pomegranate seeds, like the white, beautiful pomegranate. Her voice is more melodious than that of a cuckoo bird. I worship the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. She has cheeks that are blossoming with her gracefully, with as if full of golden complexion. Her jewel ankle bells tied to her feet sways freely. Her long hair and necklace pierces and adorns, pierces the heart when the son of the son of Nandan sees her and decorates her breasts. I worship the lotus feet of that Sri Radhika, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. The beauty of her cheeks defeats. She moves more majestically than the king of elephants. A golden girdle adorns her beautifully around her slender waist, and the small golden bells in them twinkle very sweetly. Her thighs are as smooth and slender like an upturned trunk of a golden banana tree. I worship the lotus feet of that Srimati Radhika, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. Her movement is more graceful than a swan's. Jeweled ankle bells adorn her feet. I worship the lotus feet of that Srimati Radhika, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu. Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. So this song was composed by Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad. It's a very, very deep, amazing song that describes the beauty of Srimati Radharani. Maybe when there's another time and an occasion, we can just take this song and expound on it. But right now, we will dive into the Radha-ashtami Katha today. And I would like to take Rupa Goswami's bhajan, the first bhajan that we sang, the Sri Radhika Pada Padma Vigyapati, well known as the song Radhe, Jaya, Madhava, Dayite. In this song, Rupa Goswami is explaining the wonderfulness and the greatness of Sri Radha. The word Radhe, what does Radhe mean? We know the meaning of Krishna. Last Janmashtami we touched on it also. Krishna means, Krish means to attract, and Na means all. So Krish plus Na in Sanskrit means Krishna. So Radhe or Radha, what does it mean? Radha means Aradhya iti Radhe. There are many meanings of this word Radhe, but one of the meanings is Aradhyati iti. Raga dhavyati iti Radhe. When Sri Krishna herself worships Srimati Radhika, therefore she is Aradhyate iti. Krishna himself worships Sri Radha, and Radhika worships Sri Krishna. So they, both of them, they worship each other. And when she came from Krishna's left side, we have explained that in Golok Vrindavan, Nandanandan Krishna, who is exactly 15 years, 9 months, and 27 days, the eternal Kishore, the Nandanandan son of Krishna, who is the source of everything, Govindam Adi Purusham, that Brahmaji is describing in the Brahma Samhita, he simultaneously expands on his right as Sri Baldev, and on his left, he expands himself as Srimati Radharani. And at that same expansion known as the Haladini Shakti, Sri Radha, she actually, when Krishna did the Maharas Leela, and when he expanded on his left side, known as the Bamya, or the left side, she came running to Krishna. She at once ran to worship him, and he ran towards her. They attracted each other. So Aradhyate iti Radha. So Radhe, Jai Jai, Radhe, O Radharani. Rupa Goswami is addressing Radharani. That is why she is called Radhe. This is grammar in Sanskrit. If somebody's name is Radha, and if you want to call that person, you call, this is how you say it, Radhe. Or if somebody's name is Sita, you call her Hey Site. So Radhe, he is addressing Radharani that Jai Jai, all glories to you, Radha, all glories to you. Why is Radharani so glorious? Because Madhava Dayite. Madhav means the husband of all the Lakshmis. And all the Lakshmis, the source of all the Lakshmis is Srimati Radharani. And the husband and all the source of all the Vishnus or the Narayanas or all the forms or the avatars is Sri Krishna. So he is the Adi Madhav. He is the original Madhav. And Radharani is the original Lakshmi. So Madhava Dayite, you are so near and dear to him. Dayite means very dear. You are very dear to Madhav. And in all the avatars, always the consort, the expansion of Sri Radha, Lakshmi Devi is extremely dear to Narayana. Sita Mata is extremely dear to Lord Ramachandra. And of course, Nandan is extremely dear to Radharani, and Radharani is extremely dear to Krishna. So Madhava Dayite, you are the very, very dearmost of Sri Krishna. Amongst anything in the entire creation, the dearmost personality is, or any entity is you, O Radhe. There's nobody in comparison to you. Therefore, Radhe, all glories to you. Jai Jai, Madhava Dayite. In the Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi, there is a wonderful book by the name Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi. Meaning, if we translate that into English, it means Radha means Radharani, Rasa means the nectar, Rasa means the mellow, and Sudha means the nectar. So the nectarian mellows or the rasas of Sri Radha's, and Nidhi means ocean. So the ocean of the nectarian mellows of Sri Radha is known as Radha, Rasa, Sudha, Nidhi. And this book was composed by a very great Vaishnava Acharya in Vrindavan by the name of Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur is none other than Tunga Vidya Sakhi, one of the Ashta principal Sakhis of Radharani. Radharani has 8 best Sakhis of friends. There is Lalita ji, Vishakha ji, Champaklata, Chitra, Rangadevi, Sudevi, and there is Tunga Vidya. So Tunga Vidya being one of them, she came in the as Prabodhananda Saraswati path. Like we know, Lalita Devi came as Sarup Damodar Goswami in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. Vishakha Sakhi, she came as Rai Ramananji in the Gaur Leela, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. And similarly, Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad, he actually is Tunga Vidya Sakhi who came as Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad. And by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad mentions in the beginning of the Radha Rasa Sudha Nidhi book that it is by his mercy, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, this ocean, the nectar of Radha's mellows, of the Radha's different rasas were manifest, which he put in the form of this book. And in the second verse especially, he mentions, Yasya kadapi vasananchala khelanutta dhanyati dhanya pavanena krutharthamani yogindra durgama gatir madhusudano yapi tasya namastu vrishabhanubhuvedi shayapi tasya namastu vrishabhanubhuve dishayapi tasya namastu vrishabhanubhuve dishayapi. What a beautiful verse. Why is Radha Jai Jai, Radhe Jai Jai? Why is she so glorious? As Rupa Goswami starts this bhajan, Radhe Jai Jai, Madhava Dayite. Why is she so dear to Krishna? So Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad very nicely explains in his treatise, and especially in this verse, he's saying that obeisances, tasya namo astu vrishabhanu bhuve dishi api. I offer my pranams to that direction, to that disha that faces Vrishabhanu's daughter, that faces Radharani. When the breeze is coming from that direction, playfully moves the edge of her garment, her veil. When the wind blows, her veil starts blowing of her garment, or odini. And Lord Krishna, who cannot be attained even by the king of the yogis, thinks that his life has now become a great success just by the touch of the wind that has touched the odini of Radharani, that brings Radharani's fragrance. Amazing indeed. Once Sri Krishna did something very naughty, as he is Natkat Shyam Sundar, and he had offended Radharani. And she went into her mood of sulkiness known as Man. Even, we talk about Krishna Prem, right? Most of us, when somebody asks devotees, what is your goal of life? So most devotees say, it is Krishna Prem. Very true, of course, Krishna Prem. But that is a very general term. when we study our Gaudiya literatures, further there is so many different delineations of Krishna Prem. There is Snigdha Prem, there is Madhu Prem, there is a Man, Anurag, Rag, uh, all those kinds of, then there is Madhurya Prem, and even in Madhurya Prem there is higher delineation of Madanakya and Mohanakya, which are the specialty of Srimati Radharani, that nobody can achieve those levels of Prem. So one of the Prem moods or the rasas of Srimati Radharani is Man, when she is upset or she is sulky, when Krishna upsets her. So when she was sitting on one side of the Radha Kund, and Krishna was also, sitting on the other side, and in great feelings of separation, because Radharani refused to meet Krishna. And when the breeze started blowing in from Radharani's side and touched the beautiful fragrance of Radha Kund, and also the veil of Radhika, not Radhika, just the veil, just the odhani, the covering, the soft cloth that covers the head. When that breeze or that fragrance touched Radharani's odhani, the veil, that breeze then further moved towards the direction of Krishna and touched Krishna, and he exclaimed, Krishna said, my life is successful. My life is successful. So many sages and saintly kings are able to control their minds. Panthastu koti sattvar satta sampragamyo vayo rathapi manaso muni pungavanam so api asti yat prapadasimni achintya swarupe govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. By drilling the respiration, many yogis sitting in that yogic postures, drilling the respiration, doing the pranayam, and some of them are capable of doing that for thousands and thousands of years, controlling their prana, doing pranayam, they're controlling the life air, so that they can obtain the liberation. But they're not even able to get the darshan of the nail, that the dazzling nail, the effulgence of the dazzling nail, the toenail of Krishna. So all these sages, they are there controlling their minds to get purified, yet even in their meditation, they cannot touch the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. On the other hand, by any connection with Radhika, by even the fragrance of her veil, that same Krishna was overwhelmed. Radhika, you are so glorious. Radhe, Jai Jai, Madhava Dayite. Another verse in the Rasa Sudha Nidhi by Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Pad. Prabhupada Saraswati Pad says, Venum karam nipatitam skhalitam shikhandam brasdancha pita vasanam vrajaraja sunoha yasya kadaksha sara ghata vimurchitasya tam radhikam paricharami kadarasena tam radhikam paricham Rami Kadarasena. Prabhupada Saraswati Pad says, when will I delight in the service of Srimati Radharani? Struck by the arrow of her sidelong glances, by just simply raising her eyebrows, Krishna faints. His flute falls from his hands. The peacock feather on his head becomes loosened, and his yellow scarf, the uttaranga, the scarf, the yellow scarf that adorns Krishna, slips from his neck. This is Sri Radha. Therefore, Radhe, Jai Jai, you're so glorious. Madhava Dayite, you are so dear to Radharani. Another great Vaishnavacharya, Srila Jayadeva Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to love listening to his songs, especially the Geet Govind. Geet Govind is even today sung in the Jagannath Puri temple for Lord Jagannath. But the dimension that Mahaprabhu has given, it's amazing. Because Geet Govind is a very, very amazing treatise written by Jayadeva Goswami in the 11th century. And Mahaprabhu used to relish his songs in the Gambhira. The last 12 years he spent in the Viyogini Radha mood, in the mood of the separation of Sri Radha, where Swarup Damodar or Lalita Sakhi and Rai Ramanan or Vishakha Sakhi used to sing the songs of Jayadeva Goswami, Chandidas, Vidyapati. They were so full of rasa, so full of Radha, rasa, Sudha, Nidhi, so full of the ocean of the nectar of the mellows of Radha, the Madhurya rasa. They are of a very, very high caliber and very high standard. Very, very difficult to understand unless and until we come down the path of the Raganuga Bhakti. These songs are not to be sung or not to be easily understood. It's considered the most highest of the rasas in Madhurya rasa. We all know, we have explained that many times, that there are 5 rasas. There is Shant ras, the neutrality, the rasa of dasya, servitorship, the rasa of sakhya or friendship, and the rasa of parenthood, the vatsalya ras, and the 5th rasa known as the madhurya ras, or the rasa or the mellow of conjugal relationship, like that of a lover and a beloved, a husband and wife, a boyfriend and a girlfriend, deeply in love. That is known as Madhurya Ras. And our Acharyas explained that all the rasas, the other 4 rasas, are present in the Madhurya Ras. So it's amazing that Jayadeva Goswami has composed in the Geet Govind so many wonderful songs that depict the loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And one of the lines that come to my mind is Smarala Garala Kandanam Mama Sirasi Mandanam Sirasi Mandanam Dehi Pada Pallavam Udaram Jaya Jaya Deva Hari Jaya 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 Deva Hari. This is an amazing composition. When Jayadeva Goswami actually was writing, at that time, it was time to take his afternoon, do his afternoon rituals like the Gayatri, etc. So he had to go take a bath before taking his lunch. And he actually wrote this. Dehi pada pallava mudharam, mama sirasi mandalam. Or Radha Rani, please grace me, adorn me with your soft lotus-like leaves, your lotus feet, adorn my head with your beautiful jeweled lotus feet. And he was thinking, how can that be possible? How I can write something like this, that Radharani will put her feet on Krishna's head? And then he scratched that line while during this composition, and then he went to take a bath. To make a short leela, to make this very concise, when he goes to take a bath, Krishna personally comes in the form of Jayadeva Goswami. And he sits down on that seat where he is composing this poetry, and he writes with golden letters, Smara Garara Kandanam, Mama Sirashi Mandanam, Dehi Pada Pallavam Udaram. He rewrites that in golden letters. And to the surprise of Jayadeva Goswami's wife Padmavati, She said, "You're back already?" Uh, yeah, I am. And okay, I will serve you prasadam. And then she served him prasadam and he ate the whole entire plate of prasadam. This is Krishna personally eating cooked food, bhoga, from the hands of Padmavati, the wife of Jayadeva Goswami. And then she goes to the kitchen after Krishna slash in the form of Jayadeva Goswami finishes the lunch, and she starts having her lunch. And in the meantime, Krishna leaves and the real Jayadeva Goswami comes after taking a bath and tells Padmavati, "Padmavati, is the prasadam ready? I'm ready for prasadam." And she comes out and says, "What? You just had prasadam. I'm about to finish mine." "Oh, something must have happened. You must be very hungry. Okay, let me make some more. Just give me a few more minutes." So then she was perplexed and she went into the kitchen, starting to cook again. And while she's cooking, Jayadeva Goswami doesn't waste his time. He goes back to his poetry and he sits there and starts composing where he left off. And there he saw in golden letters, "Smarana Garana Kandanam Mama Shirashi Mandanam Dehi Pada Pallavam Udaram." And then he started shivering. Romanchakam Pashru Taranga Bhajo. Tears flowed from his eyes. His hair stood at an end. He started shivering. His voice started faltering. And he called out the name Padmavati, Padmavati. And she came out running. "What now, my dear Patidev?" She says, "You don't know how fortunate you are. It was Krishna who came. And he sat on my seat." And he actually, I was thinking of writing this verse, I scratched it out, but he recorrected. "Look at the golden letters. And then, now I understand that you asked me, I just had prasad. Now I can put 2 plus 2 together. It was Krishna who partook of all the prasadam that you made. You're so fortunate, Padmavati. Dhanya, Dhanya. You are so fortunate." That is why Radha Rani is so great. Ma Radhe, Jai Jai, glories to you. Rupa Goswami is saying, glories to you. Madhava Dayite, you are so dear to Madhava, to Krishna, that you are even asking for her to put her lotus feet on his head. Radhe, Jai Jai. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite, Radhe, Jaya Jaya, Madhava Dayite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. What does that mean? Gokul means Gokul. Gokul means Vraj. It's a concentration of Go means cows, Go means gopis, Go means gopas, Go means Govardhan. So all these Go, Kul means group. Kul means a congregation or a group. Therefore, known as Gokul. In the Brahma Samhita also, Golok Vrindavan is known as Gokul. But of course, we have Gokul in Mahavan, where Nanda Bhavan is, and where Krishna was brought from Mathura to Gokul. So that is Gokul Mahavan. But Gokul is also known as Golok. Just to, because if we read Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupadaji's translations, he has very nicely explained the word Gokul in the Brahma Samhita. So Gokula Taruni. Taruni means very young, beautiful damsels, beautiful girls. Taruni, youthful. Taruni means very youthful female. They are known as Taruni. Mandala Mahite, and its entire mandal, and the entire Vraj mandal, you are the most beautiful Radharani. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. And also, Taruni Mandala Mahite means so many gopis, they live in Gokul and they're all very beautiful. They all live in Golok, in Vraj. And they are also very extremely beautiful. They are also Taruni and they bring grace to the service of Radha and Krishna in this mandal, in this Vraj mandal. They are extremely beautiful, and especially there are other gopis who are competitors like Chandravali. She is also very beautiful. Actually, the word Chandravali means, Chandra means moon, and Avali means thousands. So her beauty of Chandravali Gopi is like thousands of moons. There is a very nice little pastimes in in Barsana, especially when we go to Gaharwan. There is the Man Kutir, where Radharani expressed her sulkiness. She was upset at Krishna. And when she is in Man, what is Krishna's business? Krishna's only business is to make her happy, try to persuade her. That is the actual very, very amazing rasa or a mellow. And those rasas are witnessed by the manjaris and the gopis. Those who are very, very intimate only, they get to see these pastimes or these rasik leelas. And we are very fortunate to be in the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Vaishnava line. All our acharyas, like Rupa Goswamis, Rupa Manjari, Raghunath Das Goswami is Rati Manjari or Tulsi Manjari, Sanatan Goswami is Lavanga Manjari, Jiva Goswami is Vilas Manjari. Like that, our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada's Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is Nayana Manjari. His father, Divine Father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is Kamla Manjari. So like these, like Loknath Goswami is Manjula Ali Manjari. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, is Kasturi Manjari. So all these Manjaris are given very special seva in these Nikunjas of Vrindavan. Especially even when the gopis like the Ashtasakis are not present and they leave the Kunja, especially just to enhance Radha Krishna's mood, whether it is sulkiness or the romantic mood. Sometimes the elderly gopi, elderly means in age they are elder to the Manjaris, not elderly as in elderly, they are also Taruni, they are also very youthful. They are right around the age of Srimati Radharani. By the way, today is also Vishakha Sakhi's birthday. Some of you may not know, she was also born exactly the same day as Radharani. So just to keep that in mind, Vishakha Sakhi, one of the Ashtasakis, it is also her appearance, her Abhirbhav Tithi. So these Ashtasakis leave the Kunja. And when they leave the Kunja, these Manjaris serve because they need service. Somebody needs to wipe Radha's tears. Somebody needs to bring her a glass of water. Somebody needs to fan her. Somebody needs to fan Krishna with the yak tail or the chamar and bring them the betel nuts, the pan bida, and scented waters and for their comforts. So these little Manjaris who are younger in age to the chief gopis, slightly younger, they are left behind. So in Mangad, in Barsana, at that time, she went into Man because Krishna was teasing Radharani, saying that, because Chandravali is one of the gopis in the opposition camp. So that she is in the Dakshin Bhav. There are two types of groups. One is the Dakshin and the other is the Bamya. Bamya group is Radharani's group, where the main difference between Dakshin and Bamya group of gopis is the Dakshin group of gopis is that they always have that feeling or that mellow or rasa where they consider themselves for Krishna. So Krishna, they are subservient to Krishna and they will do whatever Krishna says. So they are very, very extremely obedient by nature. And they are always of that mood that we are yours. So, that is the mood that they have. But the Bamya Bhav gopis, especially Srimati Radharani, their main difference is, Krishna, you are ours, you are mine. And Krishna is controlled more with that bhav than the Bamya Bhav, than the Dakshin Bhav. But Chandravali is one of the most beautiful gopis in the Dakshin Bhav. So Krishna one time told Radharani that how he was with Chandravali and how beautiful Chandravali is. And she is Chandra And he goes on to describe the meaning. Chandravali, Radhe, Chandra means the moon, and Avali means millions of moons, thousands of moons. And her beauty is like that. And when she heard that, Radharani went into a very sulky mood. She got very upset at Krishna. And then Krishna, he persuades her, and then he, like that, there's a pastime to it which at another time I will mention. So she goes into that man, and when she goes into that man, at that time she is not listening to Krishna, she is not being persuaded, and at that time all these gopis of this bhav that are there, the manjaris, they assist Krishna to persuade Radharani. So all the tarunis or the gopis of Gokul, they decorate also the mandal, and they also decorate the nikunjas to enhance the mood of Radha. So Gokula taruni mandala mahite damodar rati vardhana veshe. Damodar rati vardhana veshe. What does that mean? So Damodar, as you all know, the simple and the most well-known meaning, Dam means rope and Udar means stomach. So then when Krishna was tied by a rope tied to the ukkal or the upturned motor, when he was naughty and he broke the sweet yogurt pots and fed the butter to the crows and the monkeys, Mother Yashoda was extremely upset one day, right on Diwali day, as a matter of fact, and tied him just one day before Diwali, and tied him to the upturned ukkal or the grinding motor, and because he was tied to his stomach, which is known as udara, and dam means rope, because he was tied with the rope to his belly was tied with a rope. His name from then on, he was well known as Damodar. So here, Rupa Goswami, that Damodar could be sort of a Vatsalya Ras a point, because that is the pastime between Mother Yashoda and Krishna, Nandan. But why is in the Madhurya Ras, which is the mood of the Rasik mood of Rasik Acharya, Sri Rupa Goswami, why is he mentioning Damodar Rati? So here Damodar also means that when Krishna is late in his rendezvous, in his appointment with Radharani in the Nikunjas, in the bowers of Vrindavan, and Radharani is waiting and waiting and waiting, and he's still with Chandravali or with any other gopis like Shaibya, etc., like Padma. So these are all other different gopis that Krishna also goes. And one of the things that I should bring to as a caution, somebody may ask that why does he go to all these gopis? So this is a very, very high subject matter. But to briefly, just in case, before we commit any offenses, I need to explain that very quickly and briefly. Because again, I do not want to go into the higher details of rasa. Neither I'm qualified, and nor it is my position to speak on that. But so that devotees do not commit offenses, I'm going to mention why does Krishna do that. Somebody, if you think very deeply about it, that is because he wants to. This particular line comes into play of Rupa Goswami, Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. This is amazing. It's a very rasic in nature, and I will explain it as much as my capability and the time that we have. Why Krishna is known as Damodar even in the Madhurya Ras? Because Damodar is the little 2.5-year-old Krishna that was tied by Mother Yashoda when he broke those pots. But here Damodar means that Kishore Krishna, the youthful son of Nanda Maharaj, who was tied to the trees by the odhnis of Radharani, or by the odhni or the veil of the gopis as a punishment. And therefore also, due to that tying to his stomach by the love of the gopis, therefore he is also known as Damodar. The same word Damodar is also being used in Damodar Ashtakam, but Sanatana Goswami in his treatise known as the or his commentary on the Damodar Ashtakam, he has explained the word Damodar, that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas have not really much concern about that Vatsalya ras that is displayed in when he was 2.5 years old. But this is the Damodar who was tied to the tamal tree by the gopis because of Krishna being punished. So Damodar Rati Vardhana Veshe. So Damodar, although he's controlled by his mother when he's the 2.5-year-old Krishna, by being tied to the grinding motor, in this connection, this very Damodar is now being controlled by Radhika and her youth. Youth means the group of gopis, the manjaris. And Vardhana Veshe. Why? This they do to Vardhan means to increase. Have you understood? We have understood the meaning of the word Govardhan. We say Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. What does Govardhan mean? So go again means gopis, gopas, cows, Gokul, Go Vardhan. Vardhan means to, there are many different meanings of the word Vardhan. One of the meanings of the word Vardhan means to increase the bliss or to nourish. So Govardhan supplies abundant fruits and vegetables and grass and so many minerals, etc. In the description in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam during the Govardhan Puja that the Vrajvasis want to do, a wonderful description is given of Govardhan, of all the different things that Govardhan gives the Vrajvasis. And not only he nourishes them with the fruits and vegetables and the ingredients for their bodily needs, but Govardhan means he increases their spiritual bliss. Govardhan increases, who is non-different from Krishna. Krishna is Govardhan, Govardhan is Krishna, Govardhan is Haridas Varyam. He is the topmost devotee also. Bhajami Ham Haridas Varyam. Very nice Pushtimargi Acharya. He has written one of the in the lines of the Ashtachapsakas. Bhajamyaham Haridasavaryam. Bhajamyaham Haridasavaryam. I forget the rest of it. It's a nice Ashtakam, but it's beautiful. Govardhan is also known as Haridas because he is the topmost Das. Because he is the Das of all the devotees. Hari has become Das. Krishna has become Das by protecting them under the wrath of Indra, by giving them protection under 7 days and 7 nights by lifting that Govardhan hill, making it like an umbrella and protecting all of Gokul, the Gopas, the Gopis, everybody, the cows. And that is why he's known as Haridas. Somebody, if you have a servant and he is sometimes in a very royal family, you see that they go and stand behind the person when that person comes out of the car, and if it's very sunny or very rainy, he will immediately open up that umbrella and stand behind that person. But that duty is limited, maybe half an hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, but 7 days and 7 nights. What kind of a servant? Where will you find that? That is Krishna. That is Govardhan. One who enhances. This is an amazing, again, it's another day, a Katha for another day about Govardhan. And how Govardhan is Radharani herself, how Govardhan is Balram, how Govardhan is Krishna, how Govardhan is Govardhan Nath himself. So this is another, why that is why Govardhan is so Vardhan. Damodar Rati Vardhana Veshe. So she increases. You are so glorious, Radharani, you are so expert that by your moving of your eyebrows, by going into sulkiness, by expressing all your man, I don't want to see you, go away. And then that will increase Damodar or Krishna's love more. Oh Radhe, please, I'm so sorry. I catch my ears. It will not happen again. You know that Chandravali, how tricky she is. She kept me more. For more time, I told her I have to go to Radharani. I've given her time. And Radharani again says, again you said the name of Chandravali. So like this, when she goes into that man actually enhances the rati or the love of Krishna. So this is an amazing component of rasik, of rasa, that whenever Radharani goes into man, that even increases the crescendo of the love of Krishna. So Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. And also Rati Vardhana Veshe means that Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe means that it also means the other way around. Please try to understand this sentence has a double meaning. First meaning here is that Radharani increases the love or the rasa of Krishna. But also here, Damodara Rati Vardhanaveshe, Damodar increases the love of Radharani. Again, I repeat that. Damodara Rati, the love for Krishna, Vardhanaveshe, is increased in Radharani. That is why Radhe Jai Jai Madhav Dayite. Now the question may arise, how is the love of Krishna increasing in Radharani? Again, the answer lies in that special mood that is being created by Yogamaya. And I had explained what Yogamaya is and Mahamaya is. Yogamaya creates a very conducive environment to more and more, some or the other, increase the love of Radha and Krishna, to make the Rasik, the Leela, even more sweeter and sweeter in the entire of Raj. So she makes those special arrangements. And in those arrangements, Krishna is put into a very special spell where he loses track of time when he's with the other gopis. Let's say with Shaibya or Padma or with Chandravali in the other camp, in the Dakshin camp, when he's there. So the question may arise that why does he go to those camps? Why does he just not, stay with Radharani and give her 100% full time? So the answer lies here again, Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. So because Radharani's love for him will increase, Vardhana, the Vardhan, Damodar, Rati Vardhana, the love for Damodar will increase. It will be more nourished. And that is done by acting in a very opposite way. That way, out of transcendental jealousy, out of transcendental man or the sulkiness, her love will even increase more and more, hanker for more and more. So this is an amazing line that Rupa Goswami Thakur has given us. Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe. So Krishna increases the love. That is why the Parkiya Ras, and within Parkiya Ras, he goes to the different gopis just to enhance the love and the crescendo and the pinnacle of the separation and union of this Madhurya Ras. Of the two components of Madhurya Ras is Vipralambha or separation. So he creates a separation when he goes to the other gopis. He creates a separation when he disappears from the Ras Leela. He creates all those with the full permission that Yogamaya has been given to act in such a way that she can create those environments. And that way Krishna will act in such a way so that Damodara Rati Vardhana, it will increase. The love for Krishna will increase in Radharani. That utkantha, that exciting and that the longingness increases in Radharani. Hari Nishkuta Vrinda Vipine Se Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Dayite. Hari Nishkuta Vrindavan Vipinesha. This is also such a wonderful line. Hari is Krishna. And Hari here means, now there's the normal meaning. There are two names. You can say Bhagwan's names or the name of the Krishnas can be divided, our acharyas explained, into two different categories. One is known as Gauniya Nam and one is known as Vishesh Nam. The Gauniya Nams of the Bhagwan is like Hari, Bhagwan, Ishwar, Paramatma, Parameshwara, etc. God, that is a Gauniya Nam. But the Vishesh Nam of God is Nandanandan, Yashodanandan, Radhikaraman, Gopinath, Gopijana Vallabha, Damodara, Shyam Sundara, etc., etc., etc. So, because those names Krishna really loves a lot, because every name has an attachment to his Vraj or Vrindavan pastimes, along with the name of his dear devotees. So either there is a pastime in this name, when somebody calls him Damodar, Krishna immediately his eyes widen at that devotee. Oh, you know my name on the pastime. This name happened because of my mother tying me to the grinding mortar. And for those Rasik Vaishnavas, oh, this Rasik Vaishnava is calling me Damodar. That's amazing. No Rasik Vaishnavas really call me Damodar, as no Vaishnavas as such call me Damodar. Only Rasik Vaishnavas call me Damodar because they know I was tied to the tamal tree by Radharani as a punishment. So immediately Krishna goes into a trance thinking about those leelas. So the devotee calling out that name is instrumental, giving pleasure to Krishna. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilnam Tad Bhakti Ruttam. Giving so much pleasure to Krishna just by uttering those names. The holy names of Krishna are very powerful, whether they are Gonya or they are the Visheshnam. But Visheshnam are very important. So Hari Nishkuta. So the your word Hari seems to be a Gonya Nam, like Bhagwan, Ishwar. But here the word Hari, according to the Rasik Acharyas, the mood of Rupa Goswami is Hari means that one who steals away everything. He is the one who stole Radharani's heart, therefore he is known as Hari. He has stolen the mana of all the gopis. They have stolen everything, the chitta. Bhaja bhakata vatsala Shri Gaura Hari, Shri Gaura Hari, Sohi Gosta Vihari, Nanda Jashomati, Chitta Hari, Bhaja bhakata vatsala Shri Gaura Hari. Nanda Yashomati Chitta Hari, one who has stolen the hearts of Nanda Maharaj and Yashomati Maiya. So like that, he has stolen the hearts of, not only, he has stolen the hearts of the birds, all the cows, all the animals, the peacocks, the trees, the bowers, the gopis, the gopas, everyone he has stolen. He steals everything. The moment he comes, he simply plays his flute, everything comes to a standstill in Vraj, and everybody's heart is stolen, and Krishna steals everything. That is why he's known as the topmost thief. There's a nice bhajan also, or a song written by Bilva Mangal Thakur, known as the Vraje Prasiddham Navanita Choram Gopanganaga Dukkula Choram Aneka Janma Paparjita Choram Gopagraganyam Purusham Namami, Gopagraganyam Purusham Namami. That coward boy who is Agraganyam, foremost, the number one chore. I offer my obeisances to that chore. One who has taken away the miseries of the Vrajvasis, one who takes away the pap, the bad karma, or the sinful activities of many lifetimes of the jivas, to that chore who has stolen the heart of Radharani. That is why he is known as Hari. Hari means Haran. Haran means to take away, to steal. So Hari Nishkuta. So Hari Nishkut means Krishna, that personality who stole Radharani's heart, his Nishkut, the heart of Hari, or the heart of Krishna, or Nishkut, or the Nishkut means the pleasure grove, like a beautiful garden. And Krishna, Radharani's heart itself is like a beautiful garden. So Hari has taken away Radharani's heart. Hari refers to Krishna, who takes the heart of everyone, especially the gopis. His garden is Vrindavan, where Yamuna is flowing, peacocks are dancing, cuckoos are singing. Everywhere there are the different flowers like the beli, the chameli, the kadamba, etc. They're all full of stimuli, and they're fully present. And there Krishna is not the Vrindavaneshwar. Who is the Vrindavaneshwar? Vrindavaneshwari Radharani. That position has been given by Vrinda Devi to Radharani, that you are the controller of Vrindavan, not Krishna, because Krishna even dances to your tunes. You control Krishna in your Bhamya Bhava, O Radharani. Especially Sri Krishna is not the Raseshwar, but Radharani is known as, in the Ras Leela, she is known as Radhika or Raseshwari. So Sri Krishna is one of the participants, but Radhika is all in all. Therefore, Hari Nishkuta Vrinda Vipine Se Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite Vrishabhanudadhi Navasashi Lekhe Vrishabhanudadhi Navasashi Lekhe Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vishakhe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite. Here, Rupa Goswami is describing the beauty and the appearance of Radharani. Today is the appearance of Radharani. Bolo Radharani ki Jai. Vrishabhanu Dadi Naval Sashi Lekhe. Vrishabhanu Dadi means the King Vrishabhanu. Vrishabhanu is Radharani's father. And Dadi means the daughter. And how is she, what is her description? Nava Sashi Lekhe. She looks like a beautiful, freshly formed new moon. Beautiful. Nava Sashi Lekhe. Sashi means moon. You are the moon that has arisen from the ocean of Vrishabhanu Maharaj's love. The moon, it is said in the Bhagavatam that after it appeared, the moon actually appeared due to the churning of the ocean. So the ocean of the love of King Vrishabhanu churned the moon of Sri Radha. So Vrishabhanu Dadi Navasashi Lekhe. There's a very nice Puranic Katha very close to Gokul, a few kilometers, I think only about 5 or 6 kilometers from Gokul. There is a very, very special place. And even if we go today, it is so serene and so beautiful. That is the birthplace of Radharani. A lot of people have some idea or no idea. Most people think that Radharani was born in Barsana. That is not true. Radharani was born about 5-6 kilometers away from Gokul in a very small village known as Raval. So in this Puranic Katha, in the Puranas it is mentioned that the Yamunaji, today Yamunaji is not flowing, she has changed her course. But if we go to the Raval temple, when we enter there, it is still being very nicely served by the Pushti Margi Sampradaya devotees. They have the red tilak right there. And in Raval, there is Radha Van Bihari temple across from the little temple of Radharani. And it is said that that is the place where Radharani appeared to King Vrishabhanu. King Vrishabhanu, early in the morning, he used to go take a bath in the Jamuna, and the Jamuna used to flow there. So when you go to Raval, next time you go to Vrindavan, please definitely visit Raval. Of course, most of the devotees go to Gokul, but some of them miss going to Raval. So if you tell your rickshawala or your taxi driver, they will know Raval. Or you can ask any local Vrajvasi, anybody will direct you to Raval. So in Raval, the little temple, the beautiful deities of Ladli Lala there. Ladli means the most dearmost. Ladli is Radharani and Lal means Krishna. So the temple. So Radharani, the little temple and beautiful, very simple temple is there. And if you take darshan after taking parikrama, there is a set of steps. You can go upstairs on the terrace. And in the terrace, you will see that there is, still today, you will see that there is some chhatras. Chhatras means those who are erected by previous kings. Those are usually erected on the banks of the river. So on the banks of the Jamuna, so that devotees can keep their clothes or change their clothes, or they can even do their Gayatri or chanting sitting under those chhatras. And they would be given sufficient shade. Chhatra means like an umbrella. They were stone erections. If you go to Keshi Ghat, and a lot of these chhatras were made very nicely by the Rajput kings. They were very good Vaishnavas. If you go to Kusum Sarovar, it's one of the most beautiful beautiful monuments and the Leela Sthalis in Vraj today in Govardhan. Very picturesque also, and so beautiful. Your heart, you may just, sometimes when you're taking darshan of Kusum Sarovar, while you're doing Govardhan Parikrama, you don't want to move from there. It is so serene and such a transcendental place. So there's got those umbrellas, these constructed umbrellas. So those are called chhatras. So you can still see the chhatra from the terrace, and the Jamuna used to actually flow there through Raval. But then Raval, the Jamunaji has changed the course. Even today in Vrindavan, many places today would have been covered with the waters of the Jamuna. And Jamuna Maya has receded quite a bit. And now there is a lot of land, and then there are different constructions and temples and all that have been constructed, which used to be Jamuna at one time. So King Vrishabhanu went to take a bath at the Jamuna, and there, lo and behold, what he saw was a beautiful 1,000-petaled golden lotus flowing in the Jamuna that was flowing towards him while he was offering his oblations to Jamuna Devi. And when he went closer, that lotus came flowing closer to him, he saw there was the most beautiful baby girl, golden complexioned, that was amazingly beautiful, very, very cute girl. And at that time, Lord Brahma also appeared. And Brahmaji tells King Vrishabhanu, King Vrishabhanu, this is because of yours and your wife. Your wife, King Vrishabhanu's wife is Kirtida Mata or Kirtida. So Radharani is also known as Kirtida Sundari. She also loves that name when one calls her, oh, the beautiful girl of Kirtida, Kirtida Sundari. Vrishabhanu Nandini, the beautiful young girl of Vrishabhanu. So like that, we call Krishna Nanda Nandan, the young son of Nanda Maharaj. Or we call Krishna Nanda Nandan or Yashoda Nandan, the son of Yashoda Mai. Same way, Vrishabhanu Nandini or Kirtida. Jaya Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari. Jaya Paurnamasi Jaya Abhiranagari. Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna, Jayo Vrindavan. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan. Jayo Radhe, Jayo Krishna. So Brahmaji tells him that in your past life, you were King Suchindra, and your wife Kirtida was Kalavati, and you had performed some amazing tapasya, and I was very pleased with you. And at that time, Radharani was promised to you, as she would appear to you in Dwapar Yuga. So like this is how Radharani makes her appearance. King Vrishabhanu takes her home, and delighted, as he shows Kirtida Mata, and Kirtida Mata is just full of tears and in ecstasy. Both of them, they are getting goosebumps, and they are like crying just looking at the beauty. But one thing that they noticed, that Radharani, this little baby cute golden girl, did not open her eyes, and she did not speak anything, not a word. She did not even cry. A little baby, newly born girl or a child would always cry for little needs, hungry or sleepy or irritated. The children, that is the best way. If they cannot speak, that's how they express their attention, through crying. But she did not even do that. So they were just wondering, they were happy, elated, but at the same time, they were very, very concerned. And there was a part of them that was very sad also. At that time, the great sage Naradji arrives. And Naradji arrives and says that, hey, I heard that you got a new baby girl. And they said, yes, Naradji, we did. But, we would like to celebrate it very nicely, because we already have a boy named Sridham, but we did not have a girl. So Naradji said, yes, you should celebrate. Don't worry about her not speaking anything or crying or not seeing anything. Everything will be explained to you in time. Don't worry. And like that, Naradji started dancing in ecstasy, taking the darshan. Where is she? Where is she? And then King Vrishabhanu and Kirtida Mata took her to the inside chambers, and in the cradle, beautifully bedecked with jewels, Radharani is simply swinging. And Naradji could not hold back himself, and he went into an ecstasy, seeing the topmost personality in the creation, Shri Radha, Radhe, Radhe. He started chanting the holy names, and he was in ecstasy. And then he said, King Vrishabhanu, don't worry. I want you to nicely celebrate her appearance. Don't hold anything back. Give invitation to all the Vrajvasis. And that way, King Vrishabhanu and Kirtida Sundari, taking the guidance of Naradji, invites all the Vrajvasis, especially his dearmost friend in the next town, Gokul. he sends invitation to Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj, along with his wife, Yashoda Mata, and along with Vasudev's second wife, Rohini Mata, and along with little Krishna and Balaram. Krishna and Balaram are hardly 1 year old. They're just barely 1 year old. In their arms, they come, and they haven't even yet learned how to walk. And they come to Raval, to Vrishabhanu Maharaj's home, and there they are exchanging greetings. And Yashoda Mai is so extremely happy. Kirtida Mata takes her to the inner chambers where Radharani is in the cradle, and there Yashoda Mai picks her up and gives her so much motherly love. And if there is milk flowing from her chest, looking just at Radharani, and like that she is also in ecstasy. And then Rohini Mata comes in, and then they all show so much affection and love to Radharani. And then King Vrishabhanu and Nanda Maharaj, they are talking about so many different things and the festivities. They're greeting all the other Vrajvasis. In the meantime, guess what happens? Krishna is crawling on the ground, on the floor, and he slowly crawls towards the room where Radharani is cradled. And as soon as he goes in, he kind of props himself up, catches the side of the cradle, and he peeks in. He goes up on his toes because he's a little short, and he tilts the cradle and he looks inside the cradle. And as soon as he looks in, Radharani feels the wonderful fragrance of Krishna, and lo and behold, she opens her eyes, and they are both delighted. And then, as it is said in one of the Kathas also, that Kishore Kishori Swarup is being shown to Naradji. Naradji is still present there, and he sees the original Swarup, the full-fledged, the full bloom Taruni Radharani and the Tarun Krishna, the Kishore Krishna and Kishori, their darshan, and then they go back into their original little forms. And then Krishna crawls back out, and then Radharani starts crying. And the moment she starts crying, everybody's alarmed in that party, in that festivity. We hear a baby girl cry, and they go inside and see Radharani crying, and her eyes are open. And through the joy of Kirtida Mata, Nanda Maharaj, Vrishabhanu Raja, Yashoda Mai, and Rohini Mata, and all the gopis of Vraj and the gopas of Vraj, they were so happy seeing Radharani open her eyes, and she started crying. And then eventually they played with her, and she started smiling. Such is this wonderful Radharani's appearance. So, Vrishabhanu Dadi Navasashi Leke Hari Nishkuta Vrinda Vipi Nese Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vishakhe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite. So due to the overwhelming love of King Vrishabhanu, the ocean, this Radharani was churned like a moon. Navasashi Lekhe, Vrishabhanu Dadi Navasashi Lekhe. Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vishakhe. So here, the glories, Rupa Goswami sings, Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari. And Rupa Manjari is singing the glories of Lalita Devi, who is her guide in her Manjari Seva. Actually, Rupa Manjari's Kunja is very close to Lalita Sakhi's Kunja. And because they stay close to each other, she is actually a very good servitor of Lalita Devi first, and then Radharani. And that is one of the reasons she is the favorite of Radharani, Rupa Manjari. So Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vishakhe. You are the Sakhi of Lalita, O Radharani. And here Rupa Goswami is praising. If you want to get the attention of the Lord, you have to actually start praising the Lord's different pastimes and the Lord's different devotees. Prabhupada used to sometimes say this, like, it's a very curt expression or a normal kind of an example. If somebody wants to praise somebody, or what we call chaplusi, then they will say, oh, you have a nice hat, you have a nice tie, nice shirt, and even if they have a little dog in their head, nice doggy, hi doggy, and they might be hating dogs, but they need something from that person. So similarly, here, Rupa Goswami is trying to get the favor of Lalita Sakhi also by praising Lalita Sakhi and Radharani. both together, saying that Lalita Sakhi Guna Ramita Vishakhe. You are the Sakhi of Lalita. You are the dear friend of Lalita. In what way? So that a few days ago, that couple days ago, there was Lalita Sashti. Today is Ashtami. Sashti means the 6th day, the appearance of Lalita Devi and Lalita Sakhi. There is a nice verse in the Lalita Ashtakam. Dhrute Vrajendra Tanayatanu Sustu Vamyamma Dakshina Bhava Kalankini Langavya Radhe Girim Shrunuhitam Iti Shikshayanitam Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. In the Lalita Ashtakam it is said, I offer my pranam to Lalita Devi, the charming treasure house of good qualities. She has got Lalita Sakhi Guna. She has got a lot of wonderful transcendental good qualities, who instructs Srimati Radharani. She is actually Radha Giram Shrinu Hitam Iti Shikshayantim. Shikshayantim means to instruct Radharani. Radharani's guru is Lalita Sakhi. Within the Gopi Gana, within the Ashta Sakhis, and the topmost guru of Radharani is actually Lalita Sakhi. Lalita and Vishakha both are gurus of Radharani, but Lalita is primarily, because she always tells Radharani, "Oh Kalankini." She even gives gali. She even uses abusive words to Radharani, like in this particular verse, "Ma Dakshina Bhava Kalankini Langavya." Oh Kalankini. Kalankini means, oh you unchaste one, one who gives, one who makes your kul or your what do you call, your lineage or forefathers ashamed. Kalankini. Oh Kalankini. You actually listen to me now. So she is actually upset at Radharani. You listen to me, oh Kalankini. One who gives bad name to your forefathers, to your kul, to your family. Oh Kalankali, you listen to me. Listen to my good instructions, which are good for you. It is favorable to you. What are they? Vrajendra Nandan is very, very dhruta. He is a crafty, he is a cheater. Don't display your gentleness or your naiveness in submission of Vrajendra Nandan. Don't be Dakshin Bhav like Chandravali or Shaibya or Padma. Become Dhamya Bhav. Instead, in all circumstances, become contrary. So if he tries to persuade you, you become even more upset. So all this path padaving, chavi maraving, as you say, all those key, the key, what do you call, brain wave behind Radharani's, what do you call, the Bhamya Bhav and the Man Bhav, or the Man Prema, is under the instructions of Lalita Sakhi. So also, as I mentioned, Vishakha, so here both are mentioned, Lalita Guna, Vishakha Ramite. Lalita, sorry, what is it? Lalita Sakhi Guna, Ramite Vishakhe. So Lalita and Vishakha both are mentioned. Today is also the appearance of Vishakha Sakhi. Bolo Vishakha Sakhi ki Jaya. She took on exactly as the same birth, and she also looks like Radharani in all respects, including her beauty. Her voice is also so sweet. Ramita. Ramaniya means very, very pleasurable. Ramita Vishakhe. Even more so than Krishna's. Actually, Krishna's voice is very sweet too. But it is said that Vishakha's voice is even sweeter than Krishna. All her qualities are like Radhika, because Radhika is sweeter than Krishna. I pray that she will make me her disciple and give me training on how to serve Sri Radhika and Krishna. This is the prayer to them, as they as Rupa Goswami is the Vigyapati. Vigyapati means a kind of a prayer or a begging or a longing that please, both of you, Lalita and Vishakha, please engage me in the service of Sri Radha. And that is the ultimate goal. Most of us don't know this. Radha Dasyam in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, when we are in the sadhana bhakti, we just think about Krishna, but we don't think about Radharani. And rightfully so we don't, because we are not qualified and we are not taught to. But as we as we grow in our sadhana and our sadhana becomes perfect, then what happens? Srila Prabhupada, who is pakka in philosophy, he always gave philosophy. He never gave he never hardly gave any rasa openly. But the rasa or the mellows are there in his books. It is there in between the lines. One has to read them very carefully. And those are only revealed when we are surrendered to Prabhupada to a greater degree, when we follow his instructions. And that is why even when we sing in the Guru Puja, I have repeated this many times. Chakshudana dilo jai, janme janme prabhushai, divya gyan hriday prakashito. Prabhupada doesn't have to necessarily be with us physically in Vapu, in Vani, and he can even as we surrender, he can give us the Divya Gyan of Raganuga Bhakti. Another set of doors will open from Sadhana Bhakti to Raganuga Bhakti of Raj Bhakti. And that is what in Raj Bhakti, there is a new dimension where we forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes, I repeat that. Right now, we are learning Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are learning through the biodata of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita how opulent he is and how Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudarlavam, because most people don't even know who God is. So Prabhupada said, yes, here is God, take God, Krishna is God. And like that, Prabhupada taught the worship of Radha Krishna. Prabhupada said that you have to serve them in awe and reverence, like Lakshmi Narayan. If you read the Prabhupada's purports, it is there. You have to be very immaculate, very punctual. That is the reason in ISKCON, in all the temples, if you see, that is one of the best qualities of ISKCON, that Guru Puja is always on time. The Shringar Aarti is always on time. All the Aartis on time. The curtain opens and you can adjust your clock or your watch according to the Aartis in ISKCON. 99.9999% it is like that. Because the Vaikuntha mood or Lakshmi Narayan mood is that you have to be very perfect in your service. You have to be very neat and clean and everything. But Raga Bhakti is a different dimension. That is a very high level Bhakti where it is spontaneous. Spontaneous. One is not to be told that you have to wake up for Mangalarti, or if you don't go for Mangalarti, somebody will say, oh, you did not come for Mangalarti yesterday. Oh, I did not see you in this program, or I did not see you chant, or have you read the books? Have you done this? Have you done this? So Prabhupada said for us as sadhaks, every day before going to bed, we have to beat ourselves 100 times with a broom. And when we wake up in the morning, we have to beat ourselves 100 times with the shoes. Because the mind is such that it always wants to go astray. It has to be brought under control. But one who is on the Raga Bhakti, there is no question of controlling the mind. The mind is already surrendered to Krishna, and Krishna is in control at that time. So much so that he gets controlled by the devotee. This is a very, very amazing sentence, perhaps, that I mentioned, that Krishna is in control, but Krishna is being controlled by the devotee. That is Raganuga Bhakti or Vraj Bhakti. So this Vraj Bhakti is a long ways away. But when we hear, especially on special occasions, then what happens is our desire to enter that plane increases. And the more and more we will be practicing nicely our sadhana bhakti to the point that all our anarthas, all our misgivings will disappear over a period of time, and we will be situated on a pure platform where we are situated on the platform of Nishta, Asakti, Bhav, etc., where all these things will automatically manifest through the mercy of Sri Guru. Chakshudana dilo jai, janme janme Prabhu sahi, birth after birth, regardless we are here or there, by the mercy of Prabhupada, our Gaudiya Acharyas, Rupa Goswami, etc., by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, all these things will be manifest within our hearts. Vraj will manifest in our hearts. This is not something that it can be taught to us in a Bhakti Vruksh or in some kind of a Bhakti Shastri course, or by some certificate of completion of Bhagavad Gita. No. So the thing is that it has that love. The moment that love, that sincere desire arises, it will happen. So that is why Rupa Goswami is already on a very high transcendental platform, is requesting, even when we are back home in Golok, and we are that hierarchy of Guru relationship will always remain. It is not that once we have reached Golok that we all become Gurus. No, we will be assisting our Gurus, our Prabhupada, our Acharyas. So Rupa Goswami wants to assist Radharani in her seva through Lalita and Vishaka, and that is why he is addressing in the last line, Lalita Guna Ramite Vishaka. Lalita Guna. So this is the essence of today's it is very difficult to finish a small, such a vast topic like Radharani's glories. In the last line, Rupa Goswami says, "Karuna kurumai, karuna bharite, sanaka sanatana varanita charite, Radhe, Jaya Jaya, Madhava, Dayite." Rupa Goswami here says that even in Karuna Karumai, you are so the most of the most Karuna Kurumai Karuna Bharite. One who is the most merciful and one who is full of mercy. Karuna Bharite. Why is she like that? Because that is her nature. That is Radharani's nature. And because of that particular nature, Krishna wanted to taste that nature of Radharani. Please understand this very important point. Krishna in Golok wanted to feel that why does Radharani go crazy behind my beauty? What is she really feeling? What is her within her? And her glories are so great. She is so full of compassion. She is Karunamai and Karuna Bharite, full of compassion. I need to glorify her. I really need to glorify Radharani. And I have to take a very, very special birth for that. And that is why he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that is the reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Karuna Kuru and Karuna Bharite. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishay Nama. One of the pranam mantras of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that he is Namo. I offer my obeisances, Danvats, Mahavadanyaya. Dan, and Mahavadanyaya means the highest Dan, the highest giver. There is no Dan or there is no charity compared to that charity given by anyone, even not Krishna himself, not even Nandanandan, not even Yashodanandan can give that charity. Only Krishna in the mood of Radharani, known as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, can give that Namo Mahavadanyaya. And what is that? Krishna Prema Pradayate. She gives the highest. She's so compassionate that she does not even look at the bad qualities of persons. And that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. He, in the mood of Radharani, he took the mood. So he had to act like Radharani, he had to act like the compassionate features of Radharani. Dina hina jata chilo, hari name uddharilo, tara sakshi jagai madhai. The miscreants Jagai and Madhai, who are drunkards, who are rapists, who are robbers, who are killers, who are offenders, who, when Nityanand Prabhu went to their doorstep and told them, please chant the Haribol, say it once, and they broke a pot of liquor, they were drunk on the head of Nityanand Prabhu, who is none other than the Adi Dev Guru, Adi Dev Balram. Brajendra Nandan Sachishuta Hoilo Sei, Balram Hoilo Nitai. Brajendra Nandan, Nandanandan, he came as the son of Sachimata, known as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Satishuta Hoilo Sai. Balram Hoilo Nitai. And Balram, Baldev Prabhu, his first expansion to his right, Balram Hoilo Nitai, he became Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu, from whom all the different creations take place. The spiritual and the material creations, we spoke about that last Sunday in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmadi Asya. A pot of liquor was broken on his head and he was bleeding profusely. Such compassion. But he pleaded to Mahaprabhu, please forgive them. Mahaprabhu actually was so upset seeing that he called for his Sudarshan Chakra. And Nityananda Prabhu begged him, fell at his feet, please stop. Your avatar is Prema avatar. You cannot take any weapons. You remember your promise. In all the avatars, you are coming with a weapon. Lord Ramachandra comes with a bow and arrow. In Dwapar Yug, when you come as Nandanandan or Vasudev Krishna, you come with the Sudarshan Chakra. As Parshuram come with the axe, as Balram you come with the Gada or the mace. As Kalki Avatar, you will be coming with the big sword. As Narsingadev, you come with so many different weapons in all your hands and along with your sharp nails. Shila Tankha Nakhala Ye. So in this, no, stop. No Sudarshan Chakra, no. You are Prema Avatar. Prema Dhama Eva Naomi Gaur Sundaram. Very nice, beautiful bhajan written by one of Srila Prabhupada's senior god brothers, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. Amazing in Sanskrit. He has written this glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is the Prema Avatar, Namo Mahavadanyaya, the quality of Radharani. Are, so what? He's drunk. So what? He's a rapist. Are, give him Harinam. Hariname Uddharilo. And that is the same quality Srila Prabhupada felt when he was standing under the Tompkins Square Park or in 26 2nd Avenue or in the Golden Gate Park of San Francisco, or he was in London or UK or wherever in the world he went. Please just take to this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That mood of Radha, Karuna Kuru Mai, Karuna Bharite, because they're all Manjaris. They are serving day and night Radharani, so they have imbibed those great qualities of Karuna, those great qualities of mercy. Karuna Bharite. Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. Rupa Goswami here mentions, I was pondering at one time, why they have mentioned Sanat Sanatan, the 4 Kumars? They were Brahmavadis. What has that got to do with our Rasik Vaishnava, Acharya Shiromani, Rupa Goswami Thakur, who is a Rasik Acharya in Radha-ashtami? Why is he talking about the Brahmavadis? He's not even talking about the Vaikuntvasis, where at least there is some high level of bhakti in Dasyaras. And I was thinking for many years, I could not get the answer until I found that answer. And I was so pleased. So Rupa Goswami says that even those first class Brahmavadis, like Sukadeva Goswami, he was also Brahmavadi. You remember in our introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we mentioned that how he simply left the home when he appeared from his mother's womb. After many years of pursuance, he left and he didn't even wait for the initiation or the Janoi Sanskar, and he simply left because he was already a realized soul, and he did not want to get into Maya. But when he heard the 2 verses that the boys in the forest were singing, that were written by Vyasadeva, about how Krishna is so merciful that he even gave Putna, that demoness, a place in Golok because she acted as the Dhatri, as a nurse who feeds milk to a child or takes care of a child. Kam Dayaluva. There is nobody who can be as merciful that somebody can give liberation, that too in the highest planet, Golok Vrindavan, to somebody who came to kill him mercilessly, and that too to a 3-year-old boy, a 3-year-old newly born child. Then he turned back and he got the instructions from Vyasadeva, and that's where he learned the Bhagavatam, and that's where the pure bhakti came into his heart. So this is because of the mercy of Radharani, because him being the parrot of Radharani, he was inspired to go back to his father and learn the proper system of Bhagavatam and then teach Bhagavatam through Parikshit Maharaj and Sutta Goswami and all the other sages. So when he appeared, he was also a Brahmavadi, and the 4 Kumars, they were 5 years old and they were also Brahmavadis, and who are the first sons of Lord Brahma, and they are also glorifying Radhika. So the answer came to me when I read somewhere that they have described the Nishant Leela, the end of the pastimes of Radha Krishna and the pastimes of the Ashtakaliya Leela, like the Govinda Leela Amrit of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Even they have described it by some mercy. They got that, and the 24-hour, the Ashtakal Leela of Radha and Krishna were told by the 4 Kumaras by a very special Vaishnava, Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva narrated those pastimes of the Ashtakaliya Leela, especially the Nishant Leela, to the 4 Kumaras, and then the 4 Kumaras described that in the Brihat Vaman Puran. So Srila Rupa Goswami glorifies Shanaka, Sanananda, Sanat and Sanat Kumar, the 4 brothers. So in this correction also, Sanatan means the Sanatan of the 4 Kumaras, not his brother Sanatan Goswami. But Srila Sanatan Goswami has also glorified. We sang that song, Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. especially in the Brihad Bhagavad Amrita, Sanatana Goswami has described very nicely, and in his Vaishnav Toshani on the commentary of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sanatana Goswami has written the wonderful commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam known as the Vaishnav Toshani. Like many different acharyas have written commentaries on the Srimad Bhagavatam. Like in the Pusti Sampradaya, Sri Vallabhacharya Pad has written a commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam known as the Subodhini. So like that, different acharyas have written. So that is why Rupa Goswami is grateful, because that at the end of the day, these four Kumaras are singing the glories of the services of the gopis and the manjaris in the Ashtakaliya Leela, which even in the Govind Lilamrit Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has been describing so elaborately. Radharani ki Jai. There is so much more I want to share with all of you. Actually, there is a very nice conversation in the Chaitanya Charitamrita between Rai Ramananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that ultimately leads to the glories of Radharani. And maybe, what we can do a second session just for that conversation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rai Ramananda that leads to the ultimate, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Rai very many questions, and one of the questions is, what is the ultimate goal of life? So if devotees are interested, I can do one more session on that. It will take at least a good hour and a half, if I even do it in a very concise way. So if you all agree, I'll take a vote now, and then if you want, we can do it tomorrow. It is still Radha-ashtami, so I'm okay with that if everybody else is okay. So I will stop here now, and Anup Prabhu, if you want to take over the microphone, and then we will do a quick vote before everybody leaves. So I would suggest we do a vote if we want to continue the second session of the glories of Radharani tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Radharani ki jai, Raseshwari Radharani ki jai, Nanda Nanda Dulali, Shri Vishwanu Nandini ki jai. Hare Krishna.